Good afternoon, everybody. Jason here with Tallman Tech. Today, something a little bit different. In the past couple weeks, you've seen me drive my Tesla around with FSD Beta. We've done lots of great testing. Just this past week, we were in New York City, and we released about a 90-minute video of me driving it through the city, seeing where it had issues and where it did well. But today, we have something different. Today, we're actually going to be focusing on another car that I have. This summer I purchased a 911 Turbo, 2003 Cabriolet. I wanted something for the summertime to put the top down, just have some fun, and Tesla doesn't offer a convertible. I've always wanted a 911, and so I went ahead and made that purchase. Now, as much as I love this car, the one thing that drives me nuts is how much it costs to have it fixed. Now, I'm fortunate enough that my family's business is in the automotive repair, and so I do have access to a lift, but I wanted to focus on my clutch accumulator today. Now, I had an issue in my Porsche where in the morning I'd push the clutch pedal in to start the car, and I would have a real difficult time pushing the pedal in. I also noticed after coming back from driving the car, there'd be some pooling of some fluid in the front of the car that was actually power steering fluid. In the 911, the power steering and the clutch system work together. So I did some research online. I realized that I could actually just needed to replace the clutch accumulator to start with. I reached out to some local Porsche dealers, and the price was just unbelievable. $900 to $1,200 is what I was being quoted just for labor to replace this part. When I looked online, it looked as though I could do this relatively easily, so I went ahead and tackled it myself just yesterday. So in this video today, I'm going to show you the steps to actually remove your clutch accumulator on a 996 Turbo, and then replace it, bleed the system, and get back on your way. So I hope you enjoy. Do not forget, if you enjoy my videos, please like and subscribe. We have lots of great content coming out over the next couple weeks, and I look forward to showing everybody what we put together. Thank you. First, what we want to do is remove the coolant bracket. The bracket holds these two coolant lines that you can see here that run up over the CV joint. We want to move these out of the way so it's easier to access the clutch accumulator. To remove that bracket, we're going to use a 10mm socket and remove this bolt right here. Once the bolt's removed, we can push the lines up out of the way to make it easier to access the clutch accumulator. Next, we want to cover the entire area with plastic. I just cut up a plastic bag and then wrapped it around everything. The power steering fluid that could come out once you remove the accumulator is really caustic, and it can destroy rubber lines. So we want to make sure we protect the whole area. Now we can easily see the clutch accumulator. Next, we need to actually modify a 27mm crow's foot so that it will actually fit over the clutch accumulator. To do that, we're actually going to grind down this crow's foot that I bought. We want to make it about half the thickness that it comes from the store, and we're also going to shrink the sides of it down as well too. The end result is going to look a little bit like this. Our modified crow's foot will look just like this. This will easily fit up and over the clutch accumulator. We'll use this now to loosen up the clutch accumulator, and then with our hand we can easily remove the clutch accumulator by just twisting it like this, and then we can pull it up and over the side of the CV joint and remove it from the car. We will then simply screw in the replacement clutch accumulator, and then it's time to start bleeding the system. To bleed the system, I picked up a Motive power bleeder and a catch bottle to use as well. Now we're going to attach the power bleeder to the top of the clutch reservoir. Once we have that screwed in, we'll then clip in the hose, and then we're going to take the power bleeder and we're going to pump it up to 10 psi, just 10 psi. You also want to make sure that the reservoir was filled right to the top before you pressurize the system. So we'll quickly here pump this up to 10 psi. Then we're going to move to the back of the car and we're going to hook up the catch bottle to the slave cylinder. You're going to hang the catch bottle right over the side of the CV joint, and then you're going to run the tube all the way up to the bleeder valve. You can see the bleeder valve up here. You're actually going to use an 11 millimeter socket to loosen up the bleeder valve. Now you're going to slowly unloosen the bolt until fluid starts to run into the catch can. Continue to do this until you don't see any more bubbles in the fluid going into the catch can. At this point, you can go ahead and tighten the bolt up for the catch can and remove the catch can. Then go back to the front of the car and remove the top from the power bleeder and reattach the top for the reservoir. Now that the cap is reinstalled, it's important to take a rag and some cleaning solution and clean up the entire area in case any of the fluid had leaked down into the car. Make sure and double check all areas to clean up any excess fluid. Now start the car up for about 10 seconds to pressurize the system. Now that the system is pressurized, it's time to go to the back of the car and check the power steering fluid level. Remember, the power steering fluid and the clutch system work together. So we're going to use CHF 11S to fill up the power steering reservoir until it reaches at least the cold line on the dipstick. Continue to check until you get to the right level. Then you can replace the cap, and that's it. You're done. You can see this was not that difficult, and anybody with some basic mechanical skills can replace their clutch accumulator and get that nice, smooth, buttery feeling back to their clutch that they've missed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe my channel so you know the second we release new videos in the future.